Canada and America's silent trade war. Why did U.S. President Donald Trump say, "This is a direct and clear attack on our country, not on a traditional enemy, but on America's northern neighbor, Canada"? A new digital services tax, DST, passed by the Canadian government targets global tech giants like Google, Amazon, Meta, and others, and comes into effect this week. On the surface, the issue appears to be purely economic. But when the dust settles, it's clear that this is more than just a dispute over tariffs. This is a high-stakes issue between two longtime allies that could reshape their trade relationship well beyond 2025. Just 2 weeks ago, leaders at the G7 summit agreed to work on a balanced trade framework within 30 days. But that optimism was shattered overnight when Trump abruptly announced that he was suspending all US-Canada trade talks, because Canada's decision to impose a 3% tax on revenues generated by major digital companies from Canadian users. The tax is retroactive to 2022 and is expected to generate over $2 billion in revenue this year alone. Much of that burden will fall directly on US-based companies, never one to shy away from a fight. Trump called it a hostile economic act and announced new tariffs on Canadian imports within days. In a fiery Truth Social post, he accused Canada of copying the EU and warned of consequences if the DST is not lifted. In contrast to Trump's bellicose tone, Canadian Prime Minister Mark Carney took a measured approach. Instead of responding directly, Carney's office released a brief statement emphasizing Canada's intention to continue negotiations in good faith while protecting the interests of Canadian workers and businesses. The message was clear, though: the tax is going ahead. Finance Minister Philippe Champagne said bluntly on national television, "The digital services tax is legal. It will be implemented." Meanwhile, Foreign Minister Anita Anand hinted at a broader strategic shift, saying Canada was diversifying its supply chains and should never rely on a single trading partner again. This wasn't just a diplomatic move. Canada signed a new strategic partnership with the European Union a few days ago, a clear sign that Ottawa is preparing for a future where US cooperation isn't guaranteed. Businesses react. Not everyone in Canada is rejoicing. Business leaders have expressed growing concern that the DST could trigger retaliatory tariffs from Washington and undermine a fragile post-pandemic recovery. Industry groups from steel to e-commerce are bracing for the impact, but many agree that Canada's move reflects a broader effort to reassert dominance in the digital economy. After years of stalled international talks, Ottawa has decided to go it alone rather than wait for consensus. Trump's approach is loud, confrontational, and pressure-driven. Carney's approach is methodical, diplomatic, and long-term. In this unfolding economic drama, their contrasting styles set the stakes: nationalism and multilateralism. Pressure and patience. Will Canada's stance serve as a bold assertion of digital independence? Or will it come at a very high cost? One thing is certain: this is not just about taxes. It is about power, strategy, and the future of North American cooperation in an age when even allies are beginning to draw new lines